Martina, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Alon. Hello, how are you?
No, good to see you. How are you, Martina?
I'm good, thank you.
Where are you today in Germany? You're not in Glashutte, I assume.
I'm not in Glashutte, I'm at home. Actually, most of us are working from home the, the, the biggest amount of time in these days. But as you see, video conferences, Zoom, Skype, FaceTime makes
Are
it
the
possible.
thing. So I'm very, very happy to have you on the show.
Thanks for
By
having me.
request of many viewers, they said, when is NOMOS finally coming on the show? So here you are. Thank you so much. We have many friends within Glashutte, both in NOMOS and Berliner Blau. I'm very honored that you took the time to sit down with me. You are the head of international sales at NOMOS, but I don't think that name does you justice, because for us, you are NOMOS and you do, I think, almost everything. Could you give maybe a short intro about yourself, though?
Sure. Yeah. So my history with NOMOS is long. Began actually already in '92 when the first watches, the first 4 models have been sold in Germany. So NOMOS was founded in 1990, but the first watches were sold, the first 4 models in '92.
Yeah.
So I met our owner and founder, Roland Schwertner, at that time, and I was still working in PR. And there was this young guy. We were all young at that time.
You're still very young. You're still very young. You started at the age of 15, I think.
You're into PR. I'm a watch manufacturer. I need PR. Let's do something together. So that very on a very small scale in the first few years, I did the PR work for NOMOS. It was easy. In the 90s, after the fall of the wall, Lange and Söhne had big campaigns, two-page ads in the biggest German newspaper every weekend. The legend is back. Glashutte is back, and this kind of national pride of there is fine watchmaking again from Germany was something in our industry, in our country. And also the jewelers, they were just super happy. I imagine the first gatherings in Glashutte, everybody came from everywhere, from the very south to the very north. They wanted to see that. And yeah, it was super exciting the first years. Of course, NOMOS was built from the scratch without corporate or states money. So everything was on a very small level, but we made it. Yeah, that was my first, I would say my first half in my NOMOS life was the PR side. And when everything was settled and we were on the way to our own movement and had a good retailer network in Germany, we thought, what can we do outside of this country? Let's have a look. And that actually, I was the only one in the company with some kind of proper English, because in the East, people didn't learn English in school; they learned Russian. So and since everything was in Glashutte, and most of our employees came from this region, yeah, it was me to go out into the world and see what we can do. Very small at the beginning in the UK, and because what do we have? We have English as language on the website, in the catalog. Let's do England because the US is too far and too big.
Yeah.
So that was the beginning of international sales.
How long did it take for you guys to export? How many? From 92?
Actually, in the in the 90s, we didn't think very much about exporting.
Mhm.
We had enough to do with in Germany, and there were some requests from people who heard about the brand, but that was very, very little. And we only started to do this with a plan from 2008 on.
Okay.
It took
Quite some time then.
It's a young discipline in our company. Yes.
Yeah. Nice. Well, anyways, in watchmaking years, you are still very young, and I think that makes you guys very fun, agile, and innovative.
You know what? We have all the same age in Glashutte. Everybody around here started in after the fall of the wall, before the world was different.
Yeah. But what I think
that we didn't kind of we thought, okay, we are young. We make watches we want to see on our own wrists, and why should we pretend that we have a big history? The destination, our destination of origin has a great history, but not our company. So why pretend?
Yeah, amazing. So you've been there quite some time. You're still there. I hope you never leave.
I hope
so
I
whomever, so whomever is watching in the Glashutte, pay attention. I have so many questions for you, and our viewers have many questions. But before we even go there, we have to do a mandatory wrist check. What are you wearing today?
Can you see that?
Yes.
Somehow?
Yeah.
This is somehow customized because it's a blue gold Zurich.
Yeah.
With the new sport bracelet.
Stunning.
I actually, since I have the bracelet, I think very, very rarely I put on a watch with a leather bracelet. I like it very much. Super comfortable, and yeah, I like the style. You see, it's NOMOS style. It's no.
It is, and good news to all those viewers. Yes. We've been nagging NOMOS for many years since they launched the straps, the 2 stainless steel straps. They are now available to be ordered loose as a loose strap, and you can do so at minimatical.com. So we've been processing quite some orders, and so the fan base is super happy. So thank you for that, Martina.
And I'm happy that I put the right strap on for this little ad. Cool.
Yeah. So, but people have really been nagging us for many years. So we salute you, and you did it in the NOMOS way. The design is exceptional, satin finish, the technical achievement of your engineers, because I had a masterclass of one of your engineers that worked on the bracelet. The way they conceptualized it and the way they engineered it is amazing. So that's super. Me, myself, I have 6 NOMOSes in my personal collection, and I found it very difficult to choose one. So I racked my brain, and then I said, you know what? I'm going to put 2 on. And I had to go with the first collab we did together, which is the Orion. A tribute to 100 years, the style, which I still love, grows on us. Today we had the honor to make 5 already with you guys in 4 years. All sold out very quickly. We're super proud. People are emailing us if they can still buy them. People are reselling them above list price, so we're super humbled. And yeah, that's cool. And on my second wrist is, I think, the most beautiful NOMOS ever. And I had the honor to pick it up in Glashutte, which is the Lambda Pink Gold. I utterly, utterly love this watch. And you guys dropped a big bomb this year, whereas people have been asking for many years for a steel version. You guys did that this year, honoring or celebrating the 175th anniversary of Glashutte as a town. So those are the 2 I picked up today.
It was 175 years watchmaking in Glashutte. So
Yes,
1800,
sorry, I said it wrongly.
1845.
Yeah. So let's briefly talk about that, because a lot of consumers get confused about Glashutte. For those that don't know NOMOS or Glashutte, Glashutte is a town in Eastern Germany. And Martina already gave an intro. They were isolated due to West and East Germany. There was a wall. That wall fell, opened up the markets economically as well, besides physically. A quick reference I give to people: imagine Glashutte is a town. So when Swiss watchmakers write Geneva on their dial, the Germans write Glashutte. So it would have been, if NOMOS was in Amsterdam, it would have been NOMOS Amsterdam. Now, why people get confused, there is a brand. I believe there are 14 brands in Glashutte, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's something around 10 or 11 now. So,
okay. Yeah. All right. About just around a dozen. There's one that's called Glashutte Original, and that's where people get confused. So they twist it around. The place is the name of the brand. And a lot of people think they're affiliated. There is no affiliation between the brands. Every of these dozen brands, plus mine, give or take one or two, are independent. And NOMOS, as Martina said, is independent. It's an entrepreneur who started. The name means law, right? Balance, law. That's what
exactly.
NOMOS.
It's ancient Greek and means something like law and orderly distribution. Yeah.
And what people think that watchmaking is new in Germany, it isn't. Very old trade, profession, métier. And Glashutte, as NOMOS celebrated, and several other brands, they've been making watches for 175 years with a little intermezzo during the dark pages of history. And they've been amazing. And some things that you guys honored is signature for Glashutte as a town. And the watchmaking tradition is 3/4 plates of the movements. You guys honor that as well, still today, although combining with contemporary design. And something that I love is German Deutsche Silber, German silver. That's a technique of finishing the watches in the material you guys used. I love this watch, the front, because it's less is more. It's the most minimalistic, beautiful design, but the backside is stunning because you guys have in Dutch we say zwanenhals, so the swan's neck for the regulating.
Just in lambda it looks, yeah.
Yeah. The engraving, which is done by hand, very, very, very traditional for the place. So, little intro for those that don't know Glashutte or NOMOS. We at Team Ace love NOMOS, first and foremost because of the people. Any business is people's business. You guys are fun. You guys are cool. You're laid back. Fun to work with you guys.
I can just give these compliments back, Alon. Thank you.
Please do. And I assume you're going to forward this link later to the whole company on the internet. Two, I think you guys make the most beautiful contemporary watches in the market today.
We think so too.
Less is more. I am biased because I love Bauhaus, although you guys are linked to Bauhaus. That's people get confused. Later on, I want to talk to you about the Deutsche Werkbund, and the DUW in your calibers, what that means. But that's for later. And what I find amazing is you guys aim and almost do everything in-house, designing calibers, watches, the movements, the cases almost, but you try to do as much as possible. But what blows my mind is the price-quality ratio that you guys do it at. So there are a lot of things to love. And I'm not objective because although we are not so long partners, because you were too busy, as we just heard, since 92 to 2008, you didn't even talk to anybody outside of Germany. And from 2008, you were too busy to answer our calls. So I think we've been dealers only for 5 years, but we feel like decades. And we love it so much. We have a dedicated blog, which I just highlighted, which is minimatical.com. And since ever we started, we had the honor to work with you directly. And also Rob Nuts, which has been on the show already, and we talked with him a lot. So it has been an amazing journey and a fun journey. But that's an intro. I'm going to shut up now. We need to go to the 7 Ace List questions. And the first one, Martina, for you is: what is your favorite watch or jewel and why?
Yeah, as I said before, I had to when I had to pick one, because when I look at my watches, I never thought which is my favorite. Like looking at my children, which is my favorite. So
how many do you have, by the way? Since you're working there so long, I have a guess you have more than you have fingers on your hands.
Yes, I do.
Do you know how many?
That's 2 hands, roundabout. So, but my favorite, I must admit, is, and I put it to the desk, and I still have it in the original packaging, and that's why I wanted to show it to you. Look what fun stuff we did many years ago.
Yeah.
And it is, of course, what else could it be? Our signature model, the flagship of our collection, is Tangente. Slim and elegant watch with Bauhaus style numerals, but this one is in bright red, and we did 30 different colors, each limited to 100 pieces. So it was 3,000 watches, 30 different colors, each limited to 100 pieces. And these were sold out exactly. Thank you very much. These were sold out within 3 weeks. It was just in Germany. It was 2004. It was before we switched to all in-house, and that were the last golden finished movements. By the way,
yeah,
you see that?
Yeah.
After that, we had the rhodium and stripes.
Yeah. And these were nicknamed the Super 30, right?
The series is called Super 30. Yeah. And my bright what's the name of the flower? Poppy. My poppy red is the number 1 of 100, and I really love it.
And you have that one. Amazing.
I have it.
Amazing. So,
by the way, this is also one of the limited editions that goes very high over retail price in the secondhand market.
Amazing. So we had a lot of customers asking us, when are you making an Ace NOMOS Limited with orange? So if you paid attention, guys, the screen Dala just pulled up had orange. So maybe guys, keep pushing. Email Martina, email NOMOS, spam them.
I still have an orange in mind. Yeah, actually, I love the color very much. Yeah, we have to go.
It's called Clementine Gelb, which is Clementine Yellow, which is orange, by the way, guys. Yeah. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing, Martina. Second question I have for you. What did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, my God. Different phases, I would say. When I was little, I wanted to be a truck driver, or at least being able to drive the tractor of my uncle on the farm where we spent summer vacation. Cool. Later, I was more into literature and stuff. I dreamed of myself as a writer, but yeah.
Which you were as a PR professional.
Yeah, at least a little bit. I studied German literature and communication, and so.
And I know your husband makes plays, right?
Sorry?
Your husband, he's a producer of plays.
Yeah, he's at least I married an artist.
So do you help him?
No, not at all. I just go to see the premieres, and that's nice.
Okay, nice.
No.
Nice. Amazing. So thank you for sharing that. Who is or was your role model?
Very difficult question. Yeah. I thought she died a few years ago, and Jeanne Moreau is a figure that I really adored in art and in theater and movies. Very independent character, not like and especially in that days, not the girly like Brigitte Bardot thing. Very very straight and independent, and yeah, that was something I thought of. But in the industry, because I thought about this question, there are not so many women. Exactly, that's her. Actually, there is one of the most important Japanese watch journalists is a woman. She appeared since the 90s every year, since we were in Basel, since NOMOS exhibited in Basel, every year in our booth. Super, super tough lady, directing her male staff in this with a low voice, very strict. She was very well prepared. She didn't even she was interested in the product. There was nothing else. We didn't have distribution in Japan in the early days. We were a tiny little niche brand from Germany, just beginners. And she's since the last fair, she was every year with us. Every year covered NOMOS, and in this macho male Japanese world, especially in the watch business, she was my favorite and my role model. Yeah,
that's nice. So this is a shout out to her. What's her name?
I thought about it. I don't remember because I'm so long out of PR. I have to check my name card archive.
we'll Google her, or we'll ask her Japanese.
Recognize her in any aisle in Geneva, or a tiny little lady with super short hair. And from the far, you can see that she's important.
Yeah. Nice. On topic of that, you're the first lady that represents a watch brand on the ACES, so that's cool, really? And I love that. Yeah.
Thank
you. Women are in the minority in the industry, therefore on the ACE list. We had a few, and they're all fun and amazing. So you actually raised this topic right now, and you looked up to these ladies because that's how I see you: independent, strong, though righteous. Never strict with us, but I don't think that anybody should mess with you.
You never tried, really.
And then talking about female journalists, I actually don't know this female Japanese journalist. I know a few of the Japanese. We have some Japanese friends in the industry. But you actually have an amazing female journalist in Germany, Elizabeth Dorr.
Exactly.
She also loves NOMOS very much.
One of my best friends in the industry. I love her.
Yeah. How is it to be a lady standing in this industry? And could we say that in Europe it's also a bit of a macho culture?
I would say so.
I don't think in your company that's the case. I think you guys are very down to earth. You have a lot of ladies working there.
We have a lot of ladies working there, and a lot of women working in senior roles. So in our company, I would say we are absolutely fine. Nothing to complain about. In the industry, sure, it's a macho thing because the watch. What is a luxury watch on your wrist? It is mainly a man's toy or something. Yeah. Something men can take into the meeting room. They cannot take their sports car into the meeting room, and it's easier to detect and to recognize as a Brioni suit or handmade shoes. You know, the watch. There's a brand name on it. Everybody sees it. Yeah. So of course it's more a man's world, and so this is also you also see this in the industry, and some are more, some are less. If you want to impress men, I mean you have. With your product, I think you adapt some kind of patterns, macho patterns.
So it's interesting that you say that, because I have two questions in the comment. One, do you guys really cultivate diversity, or is Glashutte like that, or the owners or the management team? Is it natural? Does it come natural? Do you guys do it proactively? Whereas the industry is lagging. I mean, only the last few years there is a really an accent on diversity, right, in corporations. And two, the funny thing is that the industry is very much maybe as you described and why it is like that. But NOMOS is not about status symbols. You guys don't have ambassadors. Your marketing is always about product and about design. You always had female watches, feminine watches. I think it became way more the last decade, and especially last few years. So is that because you guys have a lot of women, or is there more demand from the market?
I would say it really comes genuinely from the people there. Roland, our owner and founder, is a very down-to-earth guy. He's he's not good with peacocks. He can't. He himself is. He's not a luxury guy. He doesn't need to impress anybody. So, we are. When you look at the history of the company, we were always focused on the product.
Yeah.
And our USP was always great quality, great design, reasonable price.
Fair price, yeah.
Fair price, because and this is and then this modesty and decency is not just because it's of course it's a decision also, but when you look at how the price is calculated, you see that we don't have a huge sales force running around in every country with BMWs and business class flights and 5-star hotels.
Yeah.
These cost.
You guys actually really run like a bootstrapped startup still today after so many years.
Still, at least on in to some extent, because this comes from the early days when we thought our product is really not complicated. We don't need to sit on our retailer's lap every month. Not necessary. Yeah. So, and also on the advertising side, there are no George Clooney's to pay. Yeah. We try to spend our money wisely there, and the consumer has a benefit from this. And he just doesn't need to pay for that. That's
amazing.
Of course, it's not always easy, because you have to play the game, you have to be visible, and we also need to impress people.
It's a balancing act.
Exactly. Yeah. Not easy, and very different in different countries also. Yeah. So in Germany, this down-to-earth approach worked very well. When you go to the Middle East, it's a different story.
Yeah. Talking of which, I assume Germany is the #1 market.
Right.
And then the DACH region, the DACH region, which is Germany, Austria, Switzerland, I assume, because it's Germans.
Yeah, it's not easy to sell German watches to Swiss people.
Okay.
But when there are no tourists, there are not many Swiss people buying German watches. But Austria is really super important.
And then what? I think Singapore is a good market for you. You guys have a lot of love in Singapore. Japan, I think.
Japan, yeah.
Is Holland as a neighbor important for you guys?
Yes, it is. But I would love to see more there. But it's a decent market.
Yeah, nice. And I posted today on my social media the youngest female collector in the Netherlands. She's 15, and we were very honored that we had the honor to supply her first own saved up watch, which was a NOMOS. and I spoke a lot to her, which I find amazing that she's so young and into watch, and a girl, which we've just been discussing. But that why Nomos? And I think you guys are consistent. You guys don't cater to trends. You do your own thing. You have your own law, your own balancing, which is Nomos. But it's very much on the pulse of time that the younger generation wants simple things and design and qualitative, and not this throwaway culture. And in design, they're going mad with digital screens and notifications and pop-ups. So that's an interesting trend. But I want to speak to you later about that because we're deviating. So let's quickly go to question 4, okay?
Okay.
Something fun. We're going to daydream. If you could teleport tomorrow, where would you go?
Super complicated. I tend to say more to the past than to the future. I don't want to be disappointed. I think I would really like to see Dresden and Glashutte before First World War.
Yeah.
So I would really like to see how this life was there, where there was a great prospering, and so end of 19th century, something like that.
So
And
Dresden
would be interesting.
Yeah, so Dresden is the region where Glashutte lies in. Saxony is actually the region, Saxony.
Saxony.
And then Dresden is the biggest town near Glashutte, right?
The next biggest city, right?
The next biggest city, and in that region there's a lot of manufacturing going on, because I think the pinnacle Volkswagen cars are also produced there.
Exactly. Yeah, it is a region like around Stuttgart, where you have Mercedes-Benz and
Porsche,
lots of Porsche and lots of other. It's a region for mechanics and fine mechanics.
Yeah. So, but today we say it's a bit boring. There's not much to do. How come so much qualitative work and products are made in that region historically? Do you know why? Or could you tell us why?
Actually, there was mining there, so there was some kind of working with metals, but more I wouldn't know.
Because the jewelry industry and gemstones are located around full-time.
Yeah,
that's more the jewelry, diamond, and gemstones. Right. But watchmaking is really Glashutte, and a bit of full-time, but mostly Glashutte.
It was really Ferdinand Adolf Lange who bring watchmaking to Glashutte, and it was one of the it was an early, I would say, it was an early measurement by the government to help people out of poverty, because mining was down, people had no work there, and the King of Saxony gave Lange some money, a loan, not to be paid back, to found a watchmaking industry in Glashutte. So
interesting.
And he was before the courts, the king's courts watchmaker in Dresden, but he was also traveling around. He was also traveling to England, where watchmaking was big at that time, and back. And that was the founding of the industry, 1845. And from that time on, fine watchmaking came from Glashutte and from nowhere else in Germany.
Interesting. Because in Switzerland, it's because of the mountains, and they got stuck in the mountains, the farmers in the winter. So that organically grew like that. And merchant, because England was primary, US had its own industry, France had its industry, but Swiss was lagging. And the German story is rather unknown, so it's very interesting. But everybody who loves watches and or Germany or travels there, I highly recommend it. You can obviously drive there, take a train. We flew to Dresden, I think. You can fly to Prague. It's all near each other. It's really on the border. Yeah, it's close to Berlin as well, because you guys have a design studio in Berlin, Berliner Blau, which means Berliner blue. Okay, cool. I highly recommend to go there. Lange is literally the neighbor of Nomos, and all the watchmakers are there. There's a museum there, so that's cool. And obviously, if you're
come and visit.
Yeah, and we're working with ACE on a manufacturer visit. So as soon as the world is a bit more healthy, we're working on it. Question 5. I assume you read a lot. What book are you currently reading, or what book this year really stood out for you?
Actually, I just began what I wanted to read for years now, since it came out. I'm a big fan of Paul Auster.
Yeah.
Since 2007, when 4321 came out. It's the big brick one. It is his latest big work. I wanted to read it, and I'm just on the first 50 pages now, but that's my thing for Christmas. Yeah.
Nice.
Paul Auster. And since we have a lot to do with the States, and I'm working with the US team at the time as well, so it's good to dive into American thinking as well.
Interesting. I have to check this out. And since you studied literature, for those that don't read German literature, what is the one book that if they want to get into it, that they should read?
Oof. I'm a big Thomas Mann fan.
Okay.
I would read Buddenbrooks.
Okay.
Or Death in Venice.
Yeah.
But Buddenbrooks is a very German story.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
I actually don't know this one, so I'm gonna read this one. I got into Japanese literature this year, last year, which was interesting. So good tip. Thank you so much.
So, Murakami. Yeah. Also.
Yeah. Norwegian Wood.
Sorry.
Norwegian Wood. I started.
Norwegian Wood. Yeah. I think I read nearly every Murakami book. He's one of the greatest. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a genius. It was very captivating, very emotional.
Yeah, it's like seeing a movie. You're just rushing through his books.
Yeah. 6th question, Martina. You guys love color. What do you think is going to be the color for 2021?
Oof. So I just saw that Pantone published the color of 2020, which is 2 colors, gray and yellow.
Yeah.
I think the yellow was a bit cold, but no. I'm a warm red. Look at that. That's it. And
warm red.
If we go the Pantone way, I would combine it with some kind of forest green.
Yeah, nice.
That's it.
The yellow is a bit cold indeed. Thank you for showing that, Dale. All right, final question. Rhetorical, because you've been to Amsterdam, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But what's your favorite memory?
Amsterdam. Pooh. The first thing that comes to my mind is the beautiful, beautiful Rijksmuseum.
Mm-hmm.
I just love this building. When I stand in the courtyard and look to this construction, the ceiling, the lights there, just not speaking about the art. It's
you're not talking about what's hanging inside. You're talking about the building.
What's hanging inside is, of course, super nice too. There are many things I love, but just entering the building is
it's stunning. And I'm fortunate enough every time I walk in inside the door, I see the building. So it's stunning.
I know, and that's actually I always go there when I visit you.
Nice.
Just one step inside, not even buying a ticket, is already heartwarming. Yeah. So beautiful.
It's mesmerizing.
It has a lot to do with our design idea, this roof.
Okay, so let's use this as a bridge now. Okay? We both obviously like architecture, we like design, we like art. Let's talk about Bauhaus and Deutsches Bundeswerk. What they both are.
Deutscher Werkbund.
Werkbund, I always confuse it.
Don't go for Bundeswehr. That's something different.
No, not Bundeswehr. But I translate it from Dutch. You see, so it's different grammar. what are they, and what are the similarities and differences? Because a lot of people intertwine them or mix them or don't know the difference.
It's not so complicated. It's just the Deutsche Werkbund is some kind of a it came up in the same time
Which is what, the 1910s, 1920s?
1910s, 1920s, when artists, craftsmen, what is it in English? It's carpenter is the working with wood, yeah.
Carpenters, yeah.
And they came together and wanted to get rid of all this decor stuff to produce quality stuff with the design they dreamed of, clear, simple. And the Deutsche Werkbund was in Dresden, Bauhaus a little bit later in Dessau, but it was the same. It was the same kind of initial thought.
The philosophy, what I've learned always when I grew up, because my roots lie in Tel Aviv, and in Tel Aviv is nicknamed the White City.
Yeah.
When they built up Tel Aviv, the immigrants that came after First World War, before the Second World War, a lot of them were German immigrants, and they built up Tel Aviv. And Tel Aviv is an open air museum because the majority is Bauhaus, and white because of the heat. So I grew up with that, and I loved that. And only later I learned that it was German. and because the Dutch love the style, people link the style to Bauhaus, but it's different. But they're cousins.
It's super complicated to explain this in 2 sentences in a brand presentation to somebody who never heard about it. That's why I always sum it up with modernism.
Yeah.
Because this movement you can see all over the world, that architects, artists, and craftsmen wanted to create new stuff, modern stuff, without the old decor, heavy, and if you call it Bauhaus or Deutscher Werkbund or De Style, or how was it called in the States? You have the same movement there as well.
I don't even know what it's called, but I think that a bit later, though, were the Eames couple.
Exactly.
But they were a bit later.
But it is all the same. It all comes from the same strive to be modern, to get rid of the old stuff.
So what I always say to people is, it's indeed
work
modern
with new material.
Yeah.
But
it has to be qualitative, useful, so long endurance, less is more, and practical,
and also
mass produced,
but at high quality, and then
at reasonable pricing.
This was especially for the Deutsche Werkbund in Dresden very important, that use crafts technique where it's needed, but use industrial production methods where it makes the product better and more affordable.
Yeah.
So
amazing. And what I explain also, and that's why we speak about Scandinavian design, Dutch design, German design, the Nordics, the North Europe, that where the southern countries came from, let's say Jugendstil, in England, Victorian. We went to Art Nouveau, Art Deco. That's a bit more southern, and they were a bit in parallel and blending a bit, and that's why I explain, and that's why our countries are known for the less is more style. And I think that's the pedigree. Still a century later, I think that's the DNA, also in Holland.
And
and how do you guys translate it to watches today? I think the tangent is the biggest embodiment of it.
Exactly. So
because of the lugs, also the numerals, people need to see.
There was the idea of 4 watches: a round one with Arabic numerals, a round one with Roman numerals, a round one with only indices, and a square one.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the idea for the first collection.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal was to make it every single of these four as perfect, but also simple and elegant as possible, so that it can be some kind of prototype of this kind of watch. Here they are.
Blueprint, you mean, I guess.
And the Tangente, when you look at that, there was an old Lange watch from the 20s in one of the history books, which had this kind of style. Yeah. Funny enough, it was a dial that has been mass produced and also sold to many other companies.
Yeah.
But we founded this this aesthetics perfect for our ideas, and that's how Tangente came up. And this cylindrical case and the edgy horn lugs, and that's all from this modernist design idea.
Yeah.
And basically Ludwig, with Roman numerals, Orion and Tetra kind of followed this idea. Yeah. But each of them with its own case style, so it's not just repeated. And Orion, for instance, very streamlined and also with a domed sapphire. And you see Tetra is a real square, not a rectangle. And in terms of numerals and also the edgy case, kind of the square sister of Tangente.
Yeah, stunning. So, Martina, we're chatting and chatting.
Are still in the collection.
Yeah.
Without visible changes, I would say. Yeah.
Indeed. And we still sell them well. We stock them always because I love them, including the Tetra. It's one of the few real square watches. But Martina, we're chatting and chatting like we always do, especially on Fridays. We're running out of time because we tried to keep this show under an hour. Therefore, I knew we needed to do at least 2-3 NOMOS episodes for today's list. I see the comments slowly pouring in. I want to give our viewers at least 30 minutes to ask questions and for you to answer. I really, really need you back on the show because we can go on for hours. Dala, can I look at you and ask you to pump out some questions of our viewers? First one. This is our friend William, who writes on YouTube. We see a lot of collaborations at many brands. Do you think this is to stay in the industry? And then in brackets and also at NOMOS.
Collaborations in terms of limited edition models like with Ace? Definitely.
Exactly, yeah.
Absolutely. It is... I mean, that's the beauty of being an independent watchmaking manufacturer. You can just build whatever you want, and it's just a very, very nice process also to develop something like that together. We can cater to the needs of a local a local customer, like in what you just showed in Singapore with Chinese numerals or stuff like that. And also your Amsterdam watches. I think we will go on to do that. Of course, we have to carefully choose, and Alon, you know, we do that. We know exactly what we want to do and what we don't want to do. But yeah, we will go on with that. It's
okay. Thank you, and thank you, William. Yeah,
and it's also it strengthens the bonds to the brand of your watch community in Amsterdam and the Netherlands. And why not do it? I mean, watches should be fun. It's not...
I totally agree with you. It needs to be fun. Well put. Thank you, Martina and William. Next question, please, Dala. Oh, this is our friend, Michiel, who founded the watch fan club NOMOS.
Hi, Michiel.
And we see his try collab we did. That's our most recent limited edition with NOMOS, together with Michiel. That's a Club Campus at the back. He asks the $1 million question. Can we expect more lambdas in steel on YouTube? And Dale is showing his Instagram handle.
For now, I would say no.
Okay.
I mean, we launched the Golden Lambda in 2013. So, yeah. And it was only the jubilee of 175 years watchmaking in Glashutte that we dared to put it in steel, because it is at the beginning, we were asked this very, very often, when will you do it in steel? And we thought it kind of devaluates the golden and the rose gold and white gold models when we put this super, super special movement in steel. And also the price point was very difficult, because the value is definitely in the movement.
Yeah. But I guess what Dal is showing us are the 3 limited editions you guys did in the second round to celebrate the 175th anniversary of watchmaking in Glashutte.
Exactly.
It sold out instantly. We got overloaded by requests still today. So I hope, Michiel, she answered your question. But don't worry, Michiel, we're going to drive her mad, either to have it in the regular collection or an Ace NOMOS collab. Okay, next question, Dale. Dale is asking, can you share something about the case material of the Brinkers limited edition?
Dean will love that.
More of that in the future. So, by the way, Dale, good question. I loved this limited. This was my maybe 5th favorite. Obviously, the 2 Ace ones were my favorite. Then the 2 limiteds you guys did for 175 years. But this one blew me out of the water. I never heard of Brinkers, but because of this limited edition, I salute Brinkers. I love satin finished watches. I think this was the first time you ever did it for NOMOS.
Exactly. And Brinkers is one of our best partners in the US. Somewhere in Indiana, they managed to build a super cool retail and fan base there.
Yeah.
They will turn. They will have a 50 years jubilee in 3 years. So this is kind of, there will be a countdown of limited editions to that jubilee. This is number 48. Next year will be 49, and then 50. And our partner at Brinkers, Dean, he wanted to obviously have something very special, something outstanding, what we never did, and came up with the matte finish, which he also adores. And we were very skeptical in the beginning, because we decided for polished finish because of the when time and wearing a mated finish case, it becomes polished parts where you often rub and it's also less expensive to buy in. A polished case is easy. A matte finish is a blasted finish is super easy. Polishing is much more work, much more labor. But when you have a scratch, you can repolish it, and then it's nice again. Yeah. That's why we never did matte. But we found we researched what we could do. I mean, we sometimes do experiments. You might remember the matte black cases with this PVD thing. Was a very bad idea, but sometimes we do stuff like that. And we found a way of hardening a matte finished case once again after the blasting.
Interesting.
And that's what we did. And I don't think that we will see made finish in the collection very soon. I can't imagine it.
Maybe a matte titanium ace collab. Okay, Dala, thank you for that. And congratulations, Brinkers, for making that with you guys. I love that watch.
Very nice variation of club. And the gray with the bluish and reddish accents is really nice.
That's cool. It's cool. And it surprised me they took the California off, but it worked. So the California down. Anyways, next question, Dala, please. Somebody who couldn't be live on the show sent in a question beforehand and asks, when are you launching a chronograph watch? Good question.
Chrono. Oh, how many years I have been asked this question. Yeah. We don't have one in the pipeline, I can say.
Yeah.
NOMOS is more into kind of useful complications.
Yeah.
We found that our version of the bedside, the GMT watch, is such a thing, and then we don't really see the sense in a chronograph. So I think it will take us a long time. So I don't see
work in progress. Basically, work in progress. Thank you for sharing that. Any more questions, Dale? I think he's selecting because I still see them pouring in. This is our friend Rocky, has the Watch 4 crew, asks on YouTube any plans for more sports watches, perhaps with an integrated steel bracelet, ? And a bigger case, ? Out of the comfort zone, and then probably an emoticon that got lost in translation.
Bigger than 41, oh my God, or 42. I don't see that we go bigger. First thing, and an integrated steel bracelet, I don't see either. The next few years, it took us 20 years to find a bracelet that we think fits our style. So give us 10 more for an integrated one.
So it's funny that he writes that about the comfort zone, because he's a true Ace ambassador, a big watch collector and fan. Although it was out of his comfort zone, for the love of Ace, he is one of the few that has all 5 Ace limited editions.
Woo!
Yeah, so that's why he speaks about comfort zone. Yeah. Thank you, Rocky, for asking. Dala, I think we have time for one or two quick ones. Another question that was sent in to us: are you making another limited edition with Ace in 2021? Oh, that's the $2 million question.
That's, I would say we are negotiating, no?
we never negotiate. It all goes natural. We're brainstorming in an open and transparent way.
Let's put it that way, brainstorming.
For all the viewers, trust us. We spam Martina. We drive her mad. So working on it. Another question from Rash Patel on YouTube. He asks, will the Dunkel Club come back into production? Good question, Rash.
It just phased out. I don't see it. We right now we really try to cut down the core collection to something around 70, 75, I think it's now. So it's always challenging to when the collection is blowing up. It's, I mean, you know it as a retailer.
Yeah, you need to make selections. Yeah,
and
you need to make space for new stuff.
Exactly. So I
leave it at that.
Go for a new one.
Yeah. Thank you, Martina. I want to thank you very much. You were the pre-last one. Next week we're doing the last show of the year in season 1. We took on exclusively in the Netherlands the Italian fine jewelry brand Vercarlo. So the owner and CEO is coming online. I want to thank you very, very, very much. I had great fun.
Thank you very much for having me. It was big fun, as always.
As always, I enjoy talking to you always. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, and I most probably will speak to you before, but Happy New Year already for you and your loved ones.
Thank you. The same to you.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.